All right. All right. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to one of the last 3 matches here in King of the Sea North America. We are bringing you ELSR and NoCap in the losers bracket, trying to fight their way back into the grand final. One of these teams will be moving on to fight
Don't let me
Resin,
forget to,
and then
after the
one of
next
them,
match.
one of them will be going home. Let's have a look at the ELSR lineup as we spawn in here to the top side of Sleeping Giant. ELSR fielding a 4 destroyer lineup. Let's start over here on their right with Professor Luger's Harugamo. A little bit of reload and range. Quincy's Ragnar headed to mid. Same, very similar build. Ayase's Kleber looking like he's going to head over towards the western flank with Luger's Harugamo. That is a very typical Kleber build, not a unique upgrade. And then on the other flank, we have Sky Cancer's Harugamo in a much more traditional, as Zath likes to say, the 420 Blaze It All with all of the smoke investment. He and Inori's Minotaur should be defending that flank. Let's have a quick peek what else we've got going on here. Moskva, Izumi headed towards the western side of the map with a unique upgrade, top grade gunner. Okuru's Des Moines headed the same way, skipping the top grade gunner, but definitely running the unique. And then double battleship, double Vermont, 8952 here, headed towards the west. Running both of the artillery plotting mods for an American battleship. And Apex Captain here in mid, very, very similar build, pairing Brisk with all of that. What's NoCap doing down in the red, Zath?
Well, NoCap is, I guess, ignoring their name because they are sending microaggression straight at the B cap. That's the daring. He's in his usual daring build for COTS, I'd say. The remaining team going towards the A cap is Apetron's San Martin with a very torpedo-heavy build. Interesting.
See this.
We've got Burger King's Vermont with your typical sniper build. Now, he's going very aggressive early position, and I kind of like this. He's setting up to whack whatever gets detected north of the B cap. Next to him is 1-for-1 Gaming's Moskva with the unique upgrade and all the fixins that go along with it. On the other side, we've got Mr. Bean PhD set to try to block whatever over at sea with his radar coverage, and he's got range set up. DG Pitbulls Vermont is set in a sniper position, ready to go. I like to call it quick scope as well because he's got the turret traverse in slot 3 and the rudder shift. Got to move those guns quickly. Lothair's Des Moines and unique upgrade heading out to support Agro's Ragnar and 3x bank accounts Gearing. And Gearing in the COTS build and Ragnar in what you'd expect. Reminder, bans for this game are Gdansk and Yu Yang. Yu Yang.
Well, we've seen a lot of Yu Yang over the course of the event, Zath. And I think now admittedly, the teams make their ban picks without knowing what the other team is going to ban. But with Gdansk and Yang on the ban list, that pretty much, if memory serves, that should leave Ragnar as the only radar destroyer available.
This is true. So you give up a little bit of, you get rid of that threat of radar, but of course, you could just build into more radar cruisers, and NoCap's got Moskva, San Martin, Stalingrad.
Well, I would say NoCap definitely going for a little more cruiser power here. That's probably going to cost them a smidge of board control early. You're seeing Ayase's Kleber trying to get the A cap, speed boosted over there, dove the cap, was almost done with it. But Apetron's San Martin radar, I believe, or was it the Moskva? No, excuse me. It was 1-for-1's Moskva radar coming up, and San Martin was getting a few resets there just to delay. Not going to be able to prevent the cap, but slow them down a bit.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons to take a Kleber early, or say just to go get that early cap. We saw that quite a bit today on EU as well.
A little bit of angry Minotaur on Minotaur action over here on the 9-10 line. Lothair's radar going up, trying to pick up whoever it is that left that smoke for Inori. And not managing it. Sky Cancer's Harugamo just ahead of this line as he hugs the map edge.
Yeah, but if you look at it, aggro, there it is. There's the contact. I'm sure there's the radar. Yup. And they're going to try to chunk him out a little bit at the start.
See if they can get some good damage on the Harugamo as the Minotaur shells start to come in on aggro. Sky Cancer holding his fire so that once he's out of the radar range, he won't be detected anymore. But they got a fire on him, I think. He was lit briefly.
forced out the DCP. You
Yep.
can see how much hit points he's been losing. 3 ships
Yep.
on 1.
They're going to get about 40% of his health there with that exchange. Pretty good, solid early pickup there for NoCap as Quincy takes some torpedoes back in mid, Zath.
Yeah, he's really in trouble now.
Yep, they bring up the radar. That's the Stalingrad radar for Mr. Bean. They know Quincy's in trouble.
Yep.
That fire on his stern going to tick for a while. That increases his detection.
DCP end heal down on Quincy. Big hit there.
Oh, big hit from the Moskva, and they lose Quincy in mid. That's a big loss for ELSR.
5 minutes, 30 seconds.
Izumi's Moskva radar is ticking. That'll cost Micro some of his health, but once that radar fades, Micro should be able to move back in and pick up the B cap.
Yep. Got slapped a little bit there. He'll be fine though. Just rub some dirt in it. No worries. Look
Zath,
at.
have a look. You were looking at the one line, aren't
Oh,
you?
you better believe I'm looking at the one
yeah, I
line.
was just fixing to say a very aggressive ELSR push coming down the one line here.
That's right. Now we're going to take a look at the San Martin here at Apetron and see if he's able to use his funny button. We saw the funny button come into play twice today on EU. Only once was it effective.
Vermont salvo coming in on Apetron's stern. Nope.
Yep.
Not really much there. Only 4 or 5K out of it. Like we were saying yesterday, the key with San Martin to get the use out of that. I think he just used it, Zath. He got to use his funny buttons. You're just looking to get hits.
Yep.
You don't really care about the damage. You just need the shell hits to land to trigger that cooldown boost.
So his heal went from 100 and change seconds down to about 20 seconds.
Yep. More importantly, his hydro is back. There he goes.
Mm-hmm.
His radar's back, but he doesn't need it. But he'll probably pop that heal as soon as it's up, and there it is.
There it is.
He's going to need that. More Vermont shells coming in. Woof. Much bigger hit.
Yeah, hit more of the flat rear of the ship. But I'll tell you, so that's the gimmick behind San Martin. And we've seen it attempted to be used so many times. This time it was used, and it was able to heal himself back up nicely.
As expected, microaggressions grabbing B holds the points gap at about a 15-ish point lead for ELSR. Their one-line push pulling back now. The Kleber and the Harugumo retreating back up the one line. Hanging out over there with Akuras Des Moines and 8952's Vermont.
Mm-hmm.
You have to believe, Zap. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
I was going to say, you have to believe as you see the smoke going up the 10 line between Bank Account and Lothair that NoCap's going to make a play for C here.
Well, actually, that's ironically, you and I have cast so many times together. That's actually what I was about to kind of mention was looking back over at C, you've got the Death Nail action. At some point, they know that there's so many ELSR assets at the one line. Come on, guys. Let's go. Pick it up.
Big Vermont salvo coming in from Pitbull, but falling just astern of Inori.
Mm-hmm.
They're blind firing Lothair in the smoke and getting some decent hits.
Well,
Power of Harugumo's French radar.
The big difference is Lothair is sitting in the smoke, and Inori Zuri is behind it.
Was just behind it. But again, the fact that Inori was just behind it was the reason he got lit and that Vermont salvo came in.
Mm-hmm.
The little J-hook over here on the top end of this smoke cloud should allow Lothair a little bit of flexibility.
Aggro does go into the C-cap. I love the guess shots by Sky Cancer.
Yeah.
He might as well. He knows that he can do it.
Radar coming up. They're detecting each other on the surface. So Aggro is like, all right, well, let's get some more damage into the Harugumo while we can spot him. Sky Cancer secures the guns and backs out of the radar. So ELSR redeploying their assets on the one line, leaving the Des Moines and the Harugumo, which makes sense. I'm sure this was a smoke configuration Harugumo, if memory serves. It is. That's Professor Luger. So that pairing makes sense. Pushing 8952 through the A-cap as Ayase's Kleber wraps around the top up here by Izumi's Moskva.
I like the idea of bringing that Cleaver back. You're going to flex it back into the other side and try to help hold back the push that has to be coming from NoCap. Bank Account going into the C-cap. He's about to pick it up.
Bank Account on C. ELSR not really able to contest this at this point.
No.
So at the moment, ELSR with a 10-15 point lead. shortly, as we cross over the halfway mark of the game, that's going to start to shrink a bit. No Cap seems like they're in a very, very strong position here to defend B and C, Zath.
Well, yes, and if you see, Ayase just opened up with his Kleber. Microtransactions under radar from Izumi's Moskva.
Yep. They know now the Kleber has rotated back towards mid. Micro's doing a pretty good job of weathering all this fire, though.
Yep.
As the radar starts to expire here, one or two more salvos going to come in, it looks like.
The key is not being seen as Captain Caesar clears this island, that Vermont up there. You see his plane up. I don't even know where his guns are, but I would instinctively be looking and watching that Vermont. He does shoot. He looks like he's shooting at Apetron. He's shooting at Apetron. Did you see how high those shells went up? The crazy arc on this. These shells have an in-flight meal on the way into their target.
Well, he's got a really nice broadside look at Apetron, who's barely moving back here down along the J line.
Oh, just behind.
Just
Wait, there's
astern,
more?
but this next salvo
they connect.
does connect. Not Citadel. That was a Citadel.
Oh, that's a huge
does-
connection.
He does get the one forward Citadel there on the forward magazine.
Yep, look, the funny button again.
Now, one thing that them kind of pushing through the C-Cap, Zath, allows them to do, it allows them to wrap Mr. Bean's Stalingrad a little bit and point his guns in towards mid. And so now you're seeing him in a bit of a cross map duel, across the B-Cap, I should say, with Izumi's Moskva.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like, to me, LSR needs a cap to get back into this game. I'm sorry, not a cap, a kill to get back into this game.
They absolutely
They've
do. Yes.
They've got to open up a hole in the no-cap defenses somewhere. Lothair about to pick up some smoke over here, way up on D9. Keep waiting for the Vermont salvo. Here it comes. Vermont shells on the way from Captain Caesar. This could be the end of Lothair, and it is. Lothair pushing a little too far, pays the price.
Yeah, I don't know that I like that idea. We see this happen a lot where we've got, when you want to push when on advance, you don't know exactly how far to go.
Yeah.
And so the person you're chasing who just happens to have radar that goes beyond their concealment just hits the brakes. And as soon as that happens, you pop the I win button.
Yep. So now, Zath, I got to say, if I'm no cap, if it were me, I think I would yank the Stalingrad out of the position that it's in and move it over to the 9-10 line.
Mr. Bean?
It should. Yeah, in my mind, you've got, as long as the Moskva lives, and that's the trick, because they're trying to farm the Moskva out from the smoke cloud back here with Luger and Okura.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're able to keep the one-for-one's Moskva on the board, the Stalingrad over here on the right flank is an incredibly good counter to the Minotaur. Those Russian guns will prevent the Minotaur from doing almost anything useful. And the long radar means if you catch him at the wrong moment, you might be able to put him out.
You know what's interesting? Look at the mini-map. We got both Vermonts for no cap pointing at each other. Got Ragnar pointing south, Gearing pointing south. I mean, no cap is like... It almost looks like they're getting ready to just kite on both sides. I don't like this.
Well, it's a cap advantage for no cap. Both teams on a kill. No cap on a 30-point lead and growing. 4 minutes on the game timer. A little over 6 minutes on the game clock. Apetron in another shooting duel with Okura's Des Moines.
Mm-hmm.
That's a terrible place to be as a San Martin.
Well,
I'm waiting for the Vermont salvo to come in that'll end him.
The thing is, speaking of Vermont salvo ending, Caesar just takes a whack. I think that was Pitbull. The problem with here's 89's shot in on Apetron.
Nope.
The problem with the funny button is you get burst heal, which is great, but you're still using that charge of your heal. So at a certain point, you run out of heals, and then that funny button really doesn't matter anymore.
Doesn't do you much. And Apetron has been playing a brilliant game, but he's almost in that position, right? He's got one heal left on 16,000 health as he goes dark back here on the J line.
So at that point, he doesn't need to charge his funny button up other than to maybe use his radar or maybe his DCP.
Apex definitely looking a little worse for the wear here at the top of the map. He is dark at the moment.
Oh,
Ooh.
big torpedo kill there from Bank Account. That's
Now,
a good
where
clip
was
spot.
that Harugamo, Zath?
The Harugumo?
Yeah, where did he just die? Oh, he died over here in between Ayase and Apex.
Yes, he was about to
Yeah.
smoke up in front of Captain Caesar. I think they're trying to pull Caesar out so that he doesn't get farmed out.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling he was about to smoke and then nope.
Those torpedoes weren't even meant for him, Zath.
No. That's the thing about playing Destroyer in competitive games like COTS or clan battles even. You know, you get called, okay, I need you to get in front of me and smoke. Okay, cool. But then you're the first one to spot these torpedoes.
That's right. The struggle is that now you're in the line of torpedo fire. Well, at this point, we're 90 seconds from a no-cap win here in Game 1, as they're desperately trying to farm out 1-for-1's Moskva. Speaking of someone who could use smoke, no-cap trying to desperately put Izumi's Moskva on the bottom. He just took a salvo from Pitbull. Now look at Inori's Minotaur, Zath. This is bold.
I mean, I like it.
I love this play. It's crunch time. Let's go.
This is
he wipes
absolutely
out the Ragnar.
demolished.
A thing of beauty. He's going to turn in and take a Vermont salvo that he
Yeesh.
weathers barely.
Yeah. Another awesome clip moment there.
And they do finally get the Moskva. So just like that, it's a one-ship lead for ELSR. They technically have the ability to get back on the B-cap, but they don't have a ship in position. The torpedoes coming in for the minnow. He can see these, but I don't think he can do anything about it.
The problem is he beached. He had to back up. He's going to pull forward. He's going to beach again.
He's going to manage it. The
But
one
he's
the one
fine.
that would hit him is going to hit the island.
What a dodge.
But he's still not on the cap, and that's the key right now.
Well, he's also dodged right in front of the Vermont.
Vermont. Burger King reaches over the island and says, no,
No.
sir, your game is over.
Nope. You got one of us. That's enough.
I
Sit
love the
down.
boldness of the play. They just weren't able to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Ayase speeding as quickly as his little Kleber engines will allow him to here for the B-cap. But I think in the end, it's not going to matter. They don't have a... Well, I still got the Stalin radar. Mr. Beans over here with plenty of radar to pick up the Kleber. Will they have someone with shots?
No.
Microaggressions could smoke. There goes Chikumi. That's going to do this, Sath. There's 20 seconds left.
That's right.
Bean puts up the radar anyway, so Ayase is well spotted before he's even onto the B-cap.
I love that. Might as well. You know you have 20 seconds. Just use the radar.
Know they have to. You know they have to make this play. So microaggressions already smoking up with the shells on the way in as Ayase steps onto the cap. Whether he gets this kill or not, the game's over in seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And there it is. Wow.
Well.
Really, really well executed from No Cap, Saf.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I gotta say, I like the way both teams tried to ebb and flow there. I felt like No Cap held a little bit too long in deciding to make that push up the 9-10 line, and when they did, they pushed it a little bit too hard, too early. And well, you saw what happened to that to Lothair's Des Moines. But other than that, the only other thing to talk about is really briefly that Minotaur coming in from Elser, by himself. And so, he's like, well, all right, I'm gonna try to hold him off at the bridge, kind of play. and that's cool, but unfortunately for him, it only worked on one enemy. So
there stood brave Horatius, Zath, but unfortunately it wasn't enough.
That's right.
All right, well, game one in the books. Let's head back to the studio, see what Boggsy and Guys you have to say, guys. We'll be seeing you for game two in just a minute.
Let's do it.
Battle starts.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Losers bracket, round 6 fight. Saw some shells going off, but I guess they're still moving. Okay, so I had a bit of a scare for a sec, like, oh my god, restart. Let's take a look at No Cap versus Elser. No Cap up a game. This is a best of 3. Let's take a look at No Cap's lineup. We've got 3x bank account and a COTS build gearing, Agro's Ragnar in a typical build, microaggressions in also typical build. Lothair has dropped his Des Moines in favor of a Wushta with unique upgrade. Gives him an extra of each consumable, and they reload faster. Very helpful for anti-air.
Yes.
Mr. Bean is behind them in the Stalingrad. Once again, this is a range Stalingrad. And there's Burger King in his sniper build Vermont. Pitbull is on the other side heading towards the A cap with a St. Vincent this time, with a bit of a speed stuff. Apetron in front of him and that San Martin again. And 1for1 Gaming and a Stalingrad making an early turn in to try to cover the B cap for his buddy Microaggressions Daring. Raptor, what do we have for ELSR to the south?
It's going to be interesting, Zath, because I already noticing that the 2 Stalingrads on the no-cap lineup, I don't think we've seen a team the entire event field more than 1. At least I haven't. ELSR popping 2 quick Speedy Boy speed boosts here. Quincy's Kleber, gun reload, and Ayase's Kleber, gun reload. Ayase running Fearless Brawler, Quincy not, but both of them, they're going to speed boost over to A, grab that as quick as they can. As the Marceau, that Sky Cancer performs the same trick over here on the C cap. So yes, ELSR is going to absolutely start with a quick early cap advantage.
How about the fact Quincy's running IFHE? You see that?
On a Kleber.
Yeah.
Now, what thresholds would you be trying to get over with the French 135, Zath?
I'm trying to think about that for a sec. They aren't 135s.
139s, excuse me.
Yeah.
139s. But still, I'm like, I gotta run the numbers on that one. I'll do that in a minute. Anyway, keeping a look over at the A-cap, we're backed up by Akura's Manitar, running his radar there. RPF and concealment, of course. Apex's Vermont, basically similar build to what we saw last time. Chikumi's Izumi's Moskva hanging here towards mid. Now, he's flipped around, so he's stern in with his guns looking towards C.
Yep.
Just off to his port side, 8952's Montana. In, well, that nice typical American double artillery plotting build with turret traverse in second slot and a little bit of survivability skills on the high end. And then, of course, Luger's Harugamo in the smoke build headed over here, actually trailing behind Inori's Minotaur. These two did some really good work last game, obviously paired up here again, as we may have some early contact. Sky Cancer pushing very deep up the 10 lines at.
Very aggressive. There's the radar. Yep.
There's the radar.
So IFHE will pen 27 millimeters of armor for the Kleber. So they're trying
versus
what? 22, 23.
So you're trying to get over
heavy cruiser.
Guess, heavy cruiser bow armor.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So for example, maybe the San Martin.
I can kind of see it. Quick reminder: bans for this game are Gdansk and Des Moines.
I really like the aggression from ELSR on this game to get both caps so early.
So do I. Because now, and this is something that we used to see very commonly when we would watch 07 play on NA's app, right? They would take a 3-destroyer lineup, 3 or 4, but usually 3, 1 destroyer to each cap. They would try to grab as much territory as they could, as quickly as they could, and then it became a matter of, okay, now you have to fight your way back in to take away the points advantage that we've built over you. And already, 4 minutes in, it's a 100-point lead and growing for ELSR.
Yeah, hey, take a look at the 10 line real quick.
Yeah, I'm here.
Wow, aggro stuck bow in, trying to Homer Simpson his way out of this trouble.
Nope. Kind of try and fade back into the shrubbery.
Yes.
Not able to do it. Taking a huge chunk of his HP for his trouble. As Inori actually turning out of the smoke so they can get the torpedoes downrange.
Looking to see if Montana's shells are coming in for aggro's Ragnar. Interesting.
Zach, one of the things that I look at the map, the big map view, ELSR doesn't care about the B cap.
No, of course not.
They just don't care. They're going to own their plan is to own A and C and keep no cap off of them. And no cap has deployed a lot of stuff to mid. I got 2 Stalins, a Vermont, a Daring lurking around here. For the moment, all of that kind of wasted.
Well, also notice Izumi's Moskva is now pointed north with his bow. Originally, he was pointed south, so they actually turned him around and said, no, go here instead.
Turn him around, snuggled him up to the island, so now they've got 2 different radars capable of helping them defend C. Now, they only have kind of the 1-ish radar. That's Akura's Minotaur over here, able to help them defend A.
Now, Kleber, Ayase, is being rotated towards the middle. I have a feeling they're sussing a push from NoCap through the mid, but I'm not sure. Apetron, so again, San Martin typically signals a kite away plan or positioning,
Right.
right? So
Right.
so that means okay, that's going to be their light side, and so if no cap, if that's their light side, then I would imagine ELSR says, okay, hey, then they must be pushing heavy C, but that's not happening. They stopped that push, so now what? And I think the now what is microaggressions. Look at him.
Yep. Here he comes. Now he's not. He's still just outside the range of the Minotaur radar. I suspect that they know. I believe they've seen. Well, they may not know Akura's down there. He doesn't have taken any damage, so maybe they haven't spotted him yet. Micro is inside the Minotaur radar bubble here, as Ayase is lit. I'm sort of waiting. I think they're waiting for Micro to get onto the cap to bring in the Minotaur radar.
Yeah, and Ayase getting detected early like that might convince No Cap to pull microaggressions out. We'll have to see. He should have been. Well, Apetron just got smacked.
Yep.
Caesar.
Apetron's playing. Yeah, Apetron's playing a very dangerous game. You know, he's in a long range. I won't say I call it a duel, but the Vermont, as long as he fires, the Vermont has possible shells on him, and that's never a comfortable place to be.
Yes. Now earlier.
There's the radar from Micro. Micro.
Yep. A little late though. Apex Captain Caesar's already moving away.
Looks like they're going to rely on Akura to push him off. Nope. There come the Kleberts. There come the Vermont. Everyone's shooting at Micro now. Solid hit from the Vermont. Torpedoes coming in on Quincy.
Yep.
They're going to take a huge chunk of Micro's health away for this little move.
Stalingrad on the Minotaur. Oh, big hit there.
Yep. That's a range Stalin back in mid is Mr. Bean. Oh, I'm sorry. That's
That's
one for one
one.
Stalin. My apologize.
Oh, wait,
Wrong
there's more.
Stalin.
Here comes a Burger King salvo for the Minotaur.
Yeah, but it's only the one turret. Oh, no, here it is. I see it now. It's all, unfortunately, didn't lead it quite right.
Yep. Of course, saw those and started moving forward. Another big hit, though, on him.
Akura now dark. It's a 250 in point lead and still continuing to grow for ELSR. For the moment, No Cap firmly on the back foot, trying to break into A. They seem to have completely given up on C. They've put all their eggs into that A basket, Zaf.
Also,
All on Micro.
chat reminded me, too, IFHE is also useful against the Ragnar with 25mm plating.
Ah, okay. I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see
totally.
it.
That makes perfect
Yep.
sense.
It does. It does indeed.
So,
All on Ragnar. He's now back into the cap.
how about Apetron backing up and taking 2 torpedoes? Oops. With Hydro on.
With Hydro up. Yikes.
Yikes, indeed.
Well, ELSR not sitting on their laurels. Micro's going to grab A, but they've moved Ayase out here into B. He's going to snuggle up directly behind this island. They might be able to reset him with 1 for 1 before he can get there, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Nope. He's going to dive the island, get right up next to it, and he's perfectly safe. So they're going to surrender A, but they're going to grab B. So we're going to have a cap flop here. That'll keep things ticking along nicely for ELSR.
Aggro's in big trouble.
No Cap can't afford to lose a ship this far behind.
No more heals on him.
Enemy is about to win.
300 points and continuing to fall behind is No Cap here in game 2. ELSR just practicing textbook beautiful board control.
I love that clip. I love Ayase just going into B cap. Say,
Yeah.
You got
again,
nothing.
you pulled the daring off of the mid. Fine, we'll send the Kleber in. Have fun with it.
Yep. Captain Caesar just took a pretty decent chunk there from Pitbull, but he's still alive.
90 seconds in the timer now. They're gonna have to do more than this. It's gonna take more than this for No Cap. No Cap needs to bag a kill, but good Lord, Zath, ELSR is so healthy across the board. Where are they gonna get one?
Darn, Raptor, I guess we're just gonna have to go to a game 3.
Seems like it. I mean, right now, I don't see a way for No Cap to get back into this without ELSR royally screwing up somewhere.
Yeah, Luckchuck Torps plus something else.
Right.
And it's the plus part that's really, yeah.
Inari caught on radar, but there's nobody who's nothing big enough that's gonna have shots, right? The Wooster is the biggest thing Inari's up against over here on the 8 line. And man, he'll just shrug off the Wooster salvo. He don't care about that.
Oh, yep. Mr. Bean moving forward into the B cap. He's getting sitted out by Zumi's Moskva.
Oh, smacked hard. I won't say he's basically broadside of the Moskva. More
Well-
AP coming in. He'll be lucky to survive this.
Yeah, he knows he needs to get into this spot
Not
to
gonna happen.
just stop the point gain.
It's not going to happen. Nope. Vermont's gonna come in and seal that deal. And now 10 seconds on the timer. It's all over. It's all over, Zaf.
Absolutely, yes.
ELSR in control of this game from pole to pole.
There it is.
This reminds me a little bit of some of the games that we saw the first few times that the French destroyers started to filter into King of the Sea, right? Teams would do exactly this. They would take a French destroyer off to each flank, pick up the cap as quick as they could, and put just tremendous pressure on their opponents and basically say, all right, you're behind on points already. Now what are you going to do?
Yeah, yeah, and no cap taking their time, almost the opposite of what we saw the first game. Really playing a very more cautious game, just unable to make it work. So we'll go to game 3, see what happens.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to take 2 of this critical game 3 here in this best of 3 series in the losers bracket here on NA between NoCap and ELSR. Spawning into the top end of Warriors Path, we're looking at NoCap fielding only a 2 destroyer lineup. We caught a brief glimpse of this earlier. That's Agro's daring here with a very traditional kind of gun-heavy build, and Bank Accounts gearing headed over to the west with basically heavy on the torpedoes and the smoke. Now, NoCap doing something that we've not seen yet this event, Zaf, from basically anybody that I can think of, triple Stalingrad. So
Not sure what to do. You just add Stalin, right?
Apparently, you just take more Russian steel, Zaf. So we're taking microaggressions as Stalin here with range and top grade gunner. 1-for-1's Gaming's Stalingrad with reload and top grade gunner. Behind him, Mr. Bean Stalingrad also with range and top grade gunner. Now, Bean opting for the AP shell skill, 1-for-1 skipping out on that. And let's have a quick look at microaggressions. He has it as well. So 1-for-1 Stalin build is definitely the oddball out of the 3. Lothair's Minotaur headed over towards the eastern flank here with Bank Account. Important to note, Zach, this is a smoke Minotaur, not a radar Minotaur. So they're really going to be relying on 1-for-1 Stalin, it looks like. Pitbull's St. Vincent headed that direction. Gun reload and a little bit of just a touch of survivability on the high end with fire prevention and the extra heal. And then hanging towards mid here, Burger King's Vermont, as you like to say. Well, that's actually not a quick scope build because he doesn't have the turret traverse.
Yeah,
but
that's
he
a
does.
sniper.
But he does have all of the American plotting room modifications, and the one lone ship all by himself, Apetron San Martin, headed over here north of A. Zaf, talk to me about the ELSR lineup.
All right, ELSR going quickly with a Marceau. That's Quincy going into the A cap. He's about to grab it. Check a look at his build, Raptor. He's got Dazzle.
Going with the razzle dazzle, a little bit of razzle dazzle.
That's right. Behind him is the Sky Cancer. That's Harugamo 420. No, he does not have the unique upgrade. He's doing the regular concealment upgrade. Interesting. There's behind him. There's a Minotaur. Have to double check after that smoke one now. Like, which one's which. And then we've got Moskva down here. That's unique upgrade. Leading into the radar there. And that's it for ELSR. They're going to get the early cap and then they're going to hold, is my guess, is the way they're deploying. They've got both battleships heading towards the seaside. Vermont, that's Apex, Captain Caesar, in Sniper Bill with rudder shift. Vermont, and then E8952's Ohio with the Sniper build. Okura is in a Salem, that's a radar Salem with reload build. Professor Luger in a Yu Yang, there's that Yu Yang again with radar. And finally, Ayase is in a Kleber with reload, band ships, Des Moines, and Ragnar as they capture CCAP as well.
Yep. We're already seeing ELSR basically flex a strategy that worked for them last game, right? French destroyers rush the corners, hold the flank caps, ignore the middle of the map. And I'm a little surprised we're not seeing the daring here. That's aggro. Just dive the B cap, grab it, and get out.
Yeah, very interesting that he's being so cautious, especially after, again, those first 2 caps kind of telegraph, all right, they got 2 fast destroyers, all right, they went out to the flanks.
think Pitbull's about to really hate his life, Zath.
Deep water
Not only are-
torpedoes.
Well, both battleships are on top of him now. He's managed to find a gap right between the first salvo. Second salvo's coming in on his port side. He may even have a gap over there depending on how he cons his ship. I think it's likely he'll take at least one of those.
Well, the last deep waters actually fizzled before they got close.
Lothair's Minotaur radared back there in smoke from Luger's Yu Yang, trying to find a way through it. Manages.
Pitbull does take 2 deep waters.
Okay. And very, very quickly, just not even 5 minutes gone, and of course, NoCap already down 200 points. Having just suffered through this strategy, Zath, you would think that maybe they'd come sort of, kind of, ready to deal with it, but it right now it doesn't feel that way, does it?
No, it doesn't. I mean, the Stalingrads, I understand the idea behind them. You got your 12-kilometer radar, punchy guns. It's kind of like a mini battleship anywhere you want to put it. So you get a lot of flexibility, a lot of cross-shot opportunities. And once again, NoCap is setting up for a BC-heavy part of this map with the San Martin all by itself. And already being chased by the Gumo and Minotaur. So I'm not quite sure what the decision is. If you look, the Vermont and St. Vincent are already kind of noping out of sea. So,
yeah.
where you going, fellas?
I don't know. By the time they cap B, they're going to be 300 points down.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got a significant health advantage. Let me back that up. You came into the game with a significant health advantage by virtue of the fact that you brought fewer destroyers and a whole pile of Stalingrads. And yet Mr. Bean and Microaggressions right now content to just camp the middle of the board. I kind of hate this because it feels like you're wasting a lot of that potential. Now, they are pushing 1-for-1 into the sea cap, but they're doing it where the Vermont's got shells on him.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately for him, nothing doing.
Yep. Don't worry. Captain Caesar's reloading.
Keep sailing. My guns are reloading.
Exactly. We haven't had a chance to talk either about NoCap's Minotaur Raptor. Why would you take a smoke Minotaur in competitive like this? It
feels like a mistake. It feels like a mistake. I think I personally think that Lothair, for whatever reason, I don't know. I can't think of why you would do it unless you just really wanted the smoke extra. Or you were bringing 2 Stalingrads to this flank and you were going to rely on that radar and you felt you didn't need the Minotaur radar. But they didn't do that, right? You've got the two of the Stalingrads are deployed towards mid, not 2 over here, for example, to go with 1-for-1s.
Yep, Birkin going down the 7 line. To me, it's like, all right, well, if it's a mistake, then rotate the Minotaur to go with the San Martin on the kite side.
Luger's Yu Yang radar going up, able to get a reset on 1-for-1's Stalingrad with his stern turrets at the last possible second on the sea cap. Radar not catching Lothair. They're sending blind fire shells into this smoke anyway. A little high, nothing doing. But they can see 1-for-1 now. The Kleber and the Yang starting to work on farming him down. But probably not. It's only 2 ships. I don't feel like they're going to have the power to do that. I don't know. Maybe they will. 1-for-1's about to. He's trying to. Okay, he's dark again finally in there.
Yeah.
They're bringing bank accounts gearing in to help him out. He's moving out of the cap.
Right. That makes sense. Quincy now spotted, going to be shot at a bit.
Oh no. Apetron going down over here along the 1 line. I just turned back to have a peek.
Yeah.
And he caught 2 torpedoes from the Minotaur. Yikes. Just like that, it's basically a 400-point lead for ELSR here in Game 3, and we're not even to the 10-minute mark yet.
Right.
All right, so now they're getting even more shells on 1-for-1. They brought the Marceau over to help try and farm him out.
That's how you get rid of him. You either burn him out or you Citadel him out with broadsides.
They're pushing him out now, and now they realize that there's somebody else is in there with that cap, and it's not going to come in time.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to have radar to find bank account before they flip the cap, and there it is.
Yep.
But now there are 5 ELSR ships lurking on the bottom end of the sea cap. Big rumble shaping up over here, Zaf.
I want to know what Burger King's going to do with this Vermont. He's made it through the 7-line push completely unscathed at this point, really. He's spotted now. Izumi's going to start shooting at him.
They shoved the Vermont right through the middle of the board.
Yeah.
Look at
So
that.
I have a feeling they're trying to get him to go up on the rear of Okura's Salem.
He should be able to survive long enough to make that salvo.
Yes. And if you could shoot him right through that rear section, Citadels for days, all that good stuff.
89-52 taking an Ohio salvo now, and they're realizing that they've got to do something about this Vermont threat as it's kind of sort of getting into their backfield.
Yep. Slowly but surely.
At the moment, they don't have eyes on Okura. They're going to have to burn a radar for Burger King to even get a shot.
45 seconds for that radar to come back.
They're moving Mr. Bean's Stalingrad up now as well. Finally, the Stalingrads start to feel like they're making a bit of an impact on this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both Stalingrads moving together, though, feels kind of odd. Here comes the shot from Burger King.
Here comes the shot. That looks like pretty good from here. Yep, 20K.
Mm-hmm.
Right through Okura's stern.
So, if you're Okura, do you sit there and take the next salvo that will probably end your life?
What can he? If he turns out and tries to run, it's just going to make him easier to kill.
St. Vincent.
At least if he stays narrow, he has, again, a possibility, a little bit of RNG possibility to live through it.
Okay. Well, his gun should be just about reloaded. Let's watch.
Yep, just pop the heel. Salem is Okura is now as healthy as he's going to get. Bow turrets, there they go, sequentially now.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Big hits,
There
big
it
hits,
is.
big hits. There it is. Oh, they needed that kill. They get it, but they lose the
They lose
daring
aggro.
way over. Yep, they lose the daring back here in smoke. Back up along the 4 line.
That wasn't even... Minotaur didn't even radar. He just used his guns to kill him.
Bit of a Pyrrhic victory is now ELSR is going to focus out Burger King. I like this play, Zath, but I almost feel like what they needed to do was bring him around the island, take the one salvo, and immediately start to turn him north so he could get back into cover, right?
About to win.
And so now, even on 1 cap, we're 90 seconds here from an ELSR win because they own the A cap, and there is 0 chance of no cap making an impact over there anytime soon.
Yeah, I just don't see it coming.
No cap steps onto the C cap, and now that the lack of the Minotaur radar definitely felt over here. Lothair lit with no way to spot, and Ohio shells coming in. He threads the needle on the Ohio shells. He's got torpedoes coming in on his starboard side. He has to turn to deal with the torpedoes. Manages it. Threads the needle again. 60 seconds for an ELSR win here.
Captain Caesar's done a nice job of living all
Yeah,
the way to the
staying in
southern part
game,
in the Vermont
precisely. Now they're trying to farm out both Quincy or Ayase at the same time. They've lost sight of Ayase's Kleber as he runs south.
there. Mm-hmm. Lothair
they
just
can-
gets smacked.
Oh,
That's it.
The Ohio salvo does him in, and that's the game. Man. The LSR with a reverse sweep of their own here in the losers bracket. They're moving up to play Resin Zaf.
Yeah, I'm sure when the analyst desk is want to talk a little bit about this too, about the decision to take that radar. If it's a mistake, hey, it happens. But change up your strategy to find a way to utilize that asset if that's the case. But otherwise, hey, you know what? It was a really fantastic battle by ELSR. We got to see no cap for 3 games, so that was cool too.
Absolutely.
Let's send it back to the desk and move on.
All right, guys, we'll see you for the next series just in a few minutes.